What's up YouTube, this is Coding for Noobs, and I know I haven't made a video for a long time, so today I'm just going to get right into it. Today, basically I'm going to be showing you guys how to send and receive bytes via UDP client and a UDP server. So go ahead and create two new console applications. Alright, so in our first one, we'll make it our server, so we'll need to import system.text import, or not import, but system.io, system.net, system.net.sockets, and we'll probably need other stuff, I don't know yet. Anyways, next, under our main module, we'll go declare or dim sock as UDP client, and dim listening or dim port at int32 equals 89. Okay, now under our submain, we're going to do try. And on error, we're just going to do console.writeLine ex.message. Now under our try statement, we'll do sock equals new UDP client and port. Next thing we're going to do is up here, we also need a dim LP and P as IP endpoint, sorry, and we'll make it a new IP endpoint here. So basically, when you're doing this, you're going to need to know the endpoint of your server if you're going to do it this way. I'll make another video afterwards showing you how you can do this without knowing the endpoint of your client. So right now, the endpoint of my client is going to be LPNP equals new IP endpoint 0 and 89. So that's just going to work on the local host. Anyways, next we're going to do a do loop. And in this do loop, we're going to do console. We're going to do dim bytes as byte equals sock.receive, and here we do LP endpoint. Then we do console.writeLine encoding.default.get string bytes. And all this is going to do is it's going to continuously just tell us what data we're getting from the client. So when I hit start, it's just going to start up, and we'll leave that running for now. Next, when we go to the client, now we're going to send bytes to that server or to that socket. So up here we're going to do import system.net system.net.sockets and system.text. Then we're going to do dim sock as UDP client, dim IP as string equals 127.0.1 because that's our local host, and dim port as int32 equals 89, and that should be it. Oops, and our submain will now do another try statement, and we'll do console.writeLine ex.message. Alright, so now we're going to do sock equals new UDP client, and we'll do, we're not going to do anything there, but we're going to do sock.connect IP port. So this is going to connect it so that we can send data to this IP addressing port. All it does is, since it's UDP, it's not actually connecting, it's just putting in the settings. So when we create the datagrams, it knows where to send to. Next thing we're going to do is do another do loop. So we're going to do dim bytes as bytes equal encoding.default.get bytes console.readline, and then we're going to do sock.send datagram, which is our packet, which is going to be bytes and bytes.length. So now when we run this, and we open up the server, which is on the bottom, and our client, which is on the top, hello server, it'll say hello server. Congrats, you created a UDP client and server. Okay, let's go over the code now, just to give you guys a little bit more information about it. In our global variables, we're creating a variable called sock. It's going to be a UDP client, which is because we're using UDP sockets. And a UDP client, unlike TCP, there's no UDP server, there's no listener. You can send to a socket and receive from a socket, but you're never actually streaming, like, you're never actually using a stream. It's just a bunch of packets being sent or received. Then we create another variable called port, which is the port where we were receiving our data from. And we created a variable which was an IP endpoint, which is where we were receiving the data from. In our submain, we made our sock a new UDP client using port 89, and we made our IP endpoint LPNP. We made it a new IP endpoint using the IP address 0, which is our local host, and on the port 89. And we created a loop that would read the bytes from the whatever we received from the UDP client, and we just read it in the console. If we go over to the client now, we basically did the same thing, just instead of receiving data, we sent data. So we created a UDP client. We created a string to hold the IP address. We created a integer to hold the port. Then in our submain, we created another UDP client which would connect to the IP address and the port, and then we continuously just send data to the server or to the other UDP socket. I'll make another video after showing you guys how to do this without knowing this, just by receiving plain data without knowing the IP endpoint. Thanks guys, please subscribe, rate, and comment. And I forgot